Hi, everybody. It's Harvard lawyer Lee. Well, over the last few weeks, we've watched the antics of Darrell Brooks as he's been on trial for the Waukesha Christmas Parade attack. He's now been convicted by a jury of driving his red SUV right through the middle of the Waukesha, Wisconsin Christmas Parade last year. He killed 6 people and injured 60 more. He's now been convicted of 76 counts, and the judge is holding the sentencing hearing. The sentencing hearing started yesterday, and there were times when you thought, he's getting it. He understands the magnitude of what he's done. Like when we heard testimony from the mom of the 8-year-old Darrell Brooks has been convicted of killing, and Brooks buried his face on the desk.
I wish I would have known then that the hug he gave me before I went to sit down was the last hug I would ever get from him. I would have held on to him a lot longer.
Or right after a child testified, and Brooks patted his heart.
November 21st, 2021. I ask that this pain can never be caused again.
There were even times when Brooks nodded along with even very harsh judgments from the family members of victims, as if he agreed.
I ask for the full punishment within your power. I ask you to send this evil animal to life in prison with no chance for parole for the callous murder of my wife and 5 others and injuring 61 others. He should never have the opportunity to hurt another person and has forfeited his right to be a free man ever again by his violent actions against innocent lives, both young and old. You are a very evil, evil animal. Amen.
You don't deserve to see the light of day ever again. You should never be able to see your children again. It's too bad this state doesn't have the death penalty because you would be put to the front of the line. I hope you rot in hell, have a miserable existence in prison, and that someone teaches you a true lesson in asking for forgiveness. The next statement is from victim H.
But repeatedly, we saw evidence that Brooks held the victims in disdain. As one victim thanked the judge, the prosecutor, and the victim witness assistance program, Darrell Brooks shrugged his shoulders and rolled his eyes.
Just like Judge Darrell, all of you have shown the passion, blood, sweat, and tears and extraordinary effort that has been poured into this case to give us the justice that many have desired and deserve. Consider yourselves true heroes to this community as well. I would also like to highlight Jen and her extraordinary team at Victim Witness Assistance. Again, a group of truly amazing people that I can't say enough words about to describe their amazing work. If we needed a shoulder to cry on, they were there. If we needed to make that late-night phone call to get the answers we desired, they answered. We can truly not thank you guys enough for all your hard work and unmeasurable amount of effort that you gave us during this case to our families.
He rolled his eyes more than once, suggesting he had shown great patience in listening to these people.
Thank you.
Another parent gave a very emotional recount of finding her daughter lying on the ground. Darrell Brooks not only rolled his eyes, he shook his head, sighed deeply, and then very disrespectfully twirled his finger, carefully hiding it behind the monitor on his desk, as if to say, move it along, I'm bored.
My knees buckled the minute I got to her. Seeing my child that this so-called sorry excuse for a man ran a 3,000-pound SUV into her tiny little body. As a parent, we are supposed to be able to protect our children, and that day many of us were reminded of the ugly in this world, that no matter what we do, there will always be monsters like Darrell Brooks that are lurking around corners, just waiting for a chance to play those parts in our nightmares. Yet even after causing this much pain and destruction, he wasn't even happy with that. He didn't stop there. He took it upon himself to be his own representation, knowing full well he would be given the chance to question us as victims and rip open the wounds once again and show no remorse. We are now stronger than we ever imagined we would have to be as a family and as a community, and that he cannot have. He does not deserve that. What Darrell Brooks does, however, deserve is to be sentenced to the maximum time allotted for each one of his horrific convictions, as he has given us as a community a life sentence of these memories.
Thank you.
He stared dramatically at the ceiling, as if asking God why he was being forced to listen to this nonsense. He predictably got crosswise with the judge, telling her to get on with it, and being temporarily kicked out again. Meanwhile, one of the attendees yelled at Brooks that he was a piece of, and the judge kicked the attendee out.
Asking you to be quiet or I will clear this courtroom, and under Illinois versus Allen, you will lose your right to be present while the remainder of these individuals give their statements.
Okay, well, come on with it.
Once they start, I expect you to be
Come
quiet.
on with it, because that's what you've been waiting to do the whole time.
Piece of shit. Listen up and listen what you have to say.
All right.
God damn.
Sir, you're going to have to be removed. I'm sorry. I can't tolerate that from anyone. Mr. Brooks, my admonishment to you is the next person's going to get up and they're going to start their statement. And
Okay,
if you
yeah, but you
interrupt-
made it seem like I'm trying to purposely interrupt that,
Mr. Brooks,
and I don't think
I'm
that's
turning
fair
to
to
them.
do that.
please be quiet.
Okay, yeah, I still have the First Amendment right to be heard and to speak. I still have that right.
Mr. Brooks, this is a sentencing hearing.
I don't
The
care
trial
what it is. You're not going to continue.
He is arguing
You're
with
not-
me. He is now forfeiting
you're not
his
gonna
right to be
continue-
present.
you're
Everyone
not
is to
gonna
clear the courtroom
continue.
while he's moved to the next courtroom, and I'll make the appropriate findings when I'm able to do that.
So
without
can I get a
interruption.
finding of fact? Can I get a
I'm
legal
stepping
finding
off
of
the
fact?
bench.
Because I don't
We're
agree to a
recessed while that
stopper.
happens.
The judge realized it was completely unfair to hold a parent or family member accountable for courtroom decorum when Brooks had not been held to the same standard. She invited both back in the courtroom. But in the end, Darrell Brooks' detractors, the families of the victims, and the victims themselves had the last word, as they vehemently told Darrell Brooks exactly what they thought. After thinking about it, I cut these heavily because they were very harsh, and I just thought it wouldn't be appropriate for YouTube. But the feeling and the vehemence you can see in just the small parts that I put in. And remember, dozens of people testified, not just these two.
It disgusts me that you are allowed to exist. Yeah, shake your head. Shake your head. You know, because that is what you took from me. And there's nothing this court can do that would provide justice in my eyes.
You ran her down like she was nothing. And since that day, you have shown no remorse. You've offered no explanation for your atrocities. It offends me that you're sitting here breathing while she is not. You are a monster. You deserve contempt and death.
When someone has made a mockery of people's lives and the justice system, there's a sense of fairness when the restraints are at least partially removed and the community is allowed to speak back. When the people whose lives have been destroyed are allowed to say so freely and within the confines of the law. And in the end, the very last word came for Judge Doro, as on behalf of the entire Waukesha, Wisconsin community, she levied the absolute maximum sentence allowed under the law, 6 consecutive life sentences. In other words, ones run right after the other, 6 life sentences on top of each other, without the possibility of extended supervision, often known as parole. And she also levied hundreds of years on top of that for all of the people who were injured but not killed. And listen to the reaction of the crowd as she told Darrell Brooks what she was going to do and what the sentence would be.
Consecutive to one another. 1 life sentence for Virginia Sorensen. 1 life sentence for Leanna Owen. 1 life sentence for Tamara.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.